So I had a few people ask me some questions about the YPG-235, and so I wanted to do another kind of demo videos, and I'll just talk about some of the other features. And this, like, in the video world, there's consumer, there's professional, and there's prosumer. That's where I kind of feel like this keyboard falls in that prosumer category. It's not, by far not a professional keyboard, but it's definitely better than one of those little tiny Casio things you can buy at a Toys R Us. As soon as you buy this, if you buy this one or another model or something similar, first thing you gotta get you a foot pedal. Okay, now I also bought one of the little ones. I don't have it anymore. I threw it out because it was stupid. The little ones, I'll show a picture during the video. The square black ones that you just, every time you step on it, it clicks. They're terrible. Anyone I've ever bought, I have not found one that was silent. Every time you step on that pedal, you hear click, 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 click. It drove me nuts. So I'm a piano player, so I got one that actually feels like I'm stepping on a piano pedal. So I like this one a lot. Who's this by? M-Gear. I don't think it matters who they're by. I mean, it could be a cheap one. But other little features with the thing, other than, I've shown off the layers that you can do. You can, the dual audio where you can have your first layer of piano, say, and then turn on dual, and you have strings, and you can change those, so you can have whatever, 2 layerings. You can split the keyboard, so from a certain point it's, and from a certain point it's, and you can go into the functions and change where that split occurs. So if you want right at middle C, this to be a piano and this to be a violin, you can do that. I have found no use for that feature whatsoever, but it's there. It has a pitch bend, which certain songs I can see you kind of using it. I don't think I've ever touched it, but it's there. The pitch bend little thing. Whatever. I mean, if you had like a electric guitar or something. I don't know. It's there. Let me also just address for this video, there's no wires plugged in right to the camera or computer or something like that. You're just hearing right out of the speaker's onboard microphone. So if you hear tinniness, it's from the room. I mean, the sound is really good out of this, but I didn't want to run the line right through the camera. This way you hear, like the original demo I did, the microphone's just picking up what the speakers are putting out. This sucker can get pretty loud too. That thing's loud. And touch sensitive, so. I don't like that because you can really play quiet. Or really get in there. Tons and tons of function things in this. You really can control, your master volume, you can control your dual layer, your split layer, everything separately. So if I set up first with a regular guitar, folk guitar. Okay, if I go into function, I've got tons of options here. I can mess with the octave that I'm playing at. So it defaulted it to here. Or you can go all down -2, so. So you can mess with the octave, and that's great when you're doing dual things because you can have a piano with maybe a high-level guitar playing, for example. This is just now the piano as my main sound and a folk guitar as my dual layer. But if I go into functions now, I can adjust the volume of the dual layer so the guitar can be a lot louder. Or I can have that guitar real subtle. Just barely audible behind the piano, but enough there that you like it. I can adjust the octave of that, like I said. So the piano is basically still at middle C, but the guitar is 2 octaves above it, or really low. You can do a pan with the speakers. This is, again, I don't know, I've never had a use for it, but you can put everything to the left or the right speaker. That might be cool if you had, you know, your main volume all coming out of left and your dual all coming out of right. But then again, I don't know why you would do that. So it's there though. And reverb. So let me go back to just having, shut off that. Let me go back to just having the guitar, and you can adjust this one. Reverb is in here, and you can adjust that for everything. The dual layer, the split layer, the main layer, whatever. So this, and it gets pretty reverby. Like, for example, that's at its default of 28. And I'll go all the way up to 127. You hear that? If I went to a piano, that's its normal level of reverb, and you can knock that sucker all the way up. Sounds like I'm playing in a giant hall when I do that. So, the metronome. I like using the metronome when recording songs because it doesn't record it. So you can have it running in the background and you don't actually, you know, it doesn't actually record the clicking sound. But so you can run that in the background while you're recording. Make sure you stay on beat, and, you know, it never actually records that sound, so that's great. The time signature for the metronome or whatever, you can turn that to whatever you want it to be. If you want that metronome to be 3/4 and do a... The style has its own volume controls too, so if you have it playing a background sound, you can hear the volume levels there, and if I go into style volume, I can drop that all the way down without dropping what I'm actually playing. So they're all on separate controls. There's a tuning feature. This is, again, something else I've never used. I don't know why you would, but it's there, which... You're really subtly tuning a note. It's a feature. Okay, switching angles here for this one. You can save an incredibly large amount of sounds, of presets. So, for example, when you hit the piano, you have your piano. Now, say you spent a lot of time setting up a bunch of sounds. Here's what you do. So I'm going to activate track 1. I'm going to select what I want to use, which is probably going to be, let's do a voice. And let's set up like a dual layer with a soprano sax. Now say I do a whole bunch of stuff including reverbs and volume levels and everything. I don't want that to just go away and me never get that back again after I spent all that time, especially if it's for a specific song that I want to play over and over. So since I started by hitting bank, then the track, then 1, I can hit these two together. It says it's writing. And now say I go back to whatever piano. If I hit the bank, 1, 1, it's back to the sound that I created. So you can save stuff, and I have a couple saved that I just like to use a lot. And there's tons of them. There's 5, I think 5, 6, there's 8 banks, and each bank you can fill up to 9. And it's just like all your presets. So if you have a whole bunch of songs, you can write up in the sheet music, write, hey, bank 3, save 5, and it will have, like, you know, the rhythm you've selected, all your different sounds, voices that you want, whatever, all your presets for a specific song, you can have them all saved. And then you just kind of jot them down on the side of the page and go to them anytime. Basically, I'm going to leave it at that because there's so much. Guys, we need to start up a whole thing where you all make videos too, because I don't know what this means. There's so many things in here. I mean, that's obvious, style, volume, and things, transpose and tuning. I don't know what some of this stuff is, and when I try to read, like your split point, okay, I get that. Your touch sensitivity, you can adjust how, you know, if the touch sensitivity is actually working at what level it is and how hard you have to hit the keys. I get that. PAT type and SFF load, PC mode, that's if you're connecting to the computer, obviously, but so that one I never really use. But local and extent, what in the world? There's a lot of stuff in this that I just don't know what it does just yet, and I've had the thing for like 2-3 years now. But it's obviously stuff that the average person isn't going to mess with when you're just playing music. But it might have some cool features. I just, you know, even trying to read and understand what it says in the manual really didn't make too much sense to me. So, for now, I'm going to leave it at that. And if anyone else messes with those settings, make a video. We'll start sharing these things.